Let's run away together on love. Lead me into your world.
Hey, what is up, guys? It's your boy Dre, back at it again with another video. So today, your favorite journalist, me, is gonna go ahead and do his Premier League predictions for this 21-22 season. Obviously, it's just my opinion. It'll probably be all completely wrong because every year that I do my own Premier League predictions by myself, like off screen, obviously I just started my YouTube channel this year, I'm always completely wrong. But anyways, today we're gonna go ahead and try to do it today. So if you guys do end up enjoying this video, make sure to click that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell to get notified anytime we do post. But anyways, right before we do start this video, I want to go ahead and shout out my fantasy league. I have created a fantasy league for you guys, for my viewers, and if enough people do join, I will try and do a giveaway at the end of the year. I'm obviously a college student, and I have to pay for college, I have to pay for rent. But I will, if you guys, a lot of people do join, and I do see a lot of support in this channel. I've seen a lot of support in this channel, so I'm really thankful. So if a lot of people do join this league, obviously if it's just 5 of us, I'm not gonna give away anything. But if it's like a whole bunch of us, maybe like at least 30 people, I'll go ahead and maybe do a giveaway to the winner, whoever wins at the end of the season. But yeah, make sure to join the league. It's called Liga Camaras. The code to join this league is 5Y2LFU. I will also leave the link down in the description. And as well, join my Discord if you have not. It's also down in the description. I'll do a lot of news there about the league and anything in general. You guys should join. But anyways, now we can go ahead and get started with the Premier League predictions. Okay, so for this video, I don't really want to take up too much of your time. I know a lot of people go really into depth. I'm going to try my best to not do that because I know at times I do talk a lot, and I'm gonna try not to. I want to explain a little bit of my reasoning for some clubs, but as well some other clubs like mid-table sides are just really not worth explaining because like it just, we have to, for some spaces we just have to fill in. So like obviously mid-table is all almost the same, so it's just spots we have to fill in. It's kind of random. The spots I'm really aiming for to get correct are the top 6 and the bottom 3. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started with our first prediction. So in 20th place, I think a lot of people have put this team down here, and I also have, I think it's Watford. So I think Watford are a very good club. They've been in the Premier League a couple of times, and I really congratulate them for coming into the Premier League a whole bunch of times. But I just feel they haven't made the correct signings, and they don't have the right players. Like they have a couple amazing players such as Joshua King, who they just signed on a free, which is a really good signing, by the way. Andre Gray is pretty decent, but in the Premier League has not proven himself. Will Hughes and other players. They have also, I think, I've gotten rid of Ben Foster, which is not the best idea for them. But yeah, I think Watford have a good side. I just don't think they have it up enough for the Premier League. Moving on to 19th place, a lot of people do really tip this team to stay up every season just because of their manager, bro. I think this might be the year they finally go down. I think 19th place will be Burnley. Obviously, Sean Dyche has kept them in the league for so many years now, and obviously people are just, as a safe bet, just to keep them mid-table. But I think this is the year they do go down. I think Sean Dyche is a very, very amazing manager. I think he just deserves to leave Burnley at this point, but I just think, I have no idea why he has not left. Burnley, the only reason Burnley is still up is because that man is still at the helm. But I think this year it won't be enough for them. The Premier League has grown a lot, like recently, and obviously they haven't made the best signings. Wayne Hennessy is a decent, I guess, signing for them, but it's not good enough. Nick Pope is still up there, and Nathan Collins is a really exciting signing in my opinion. I feel like Nathan Collins should have gone to a whole completely different club, but he has joined Burnley. I believe he will play there as well, but I just think this team is not strong enough. Chris Woods is probably the main man up there, and if it's up to him to perform. If he does not perform, I think they will surely definitely go down. But if he does perform, there is a chance of survival, as well as Dwight McNeil. Moving on to the final relegation spot, I do have a surprising one. A lot of people will probably think I'm stupid for this, but I think it's gonna be Newcastle. Look, Newcastle, amazing side. They have a great history. It just recently, what's his name? Not Mike Ashley. What's his name? There we go. Steve Bruce. That's his name. Steve Bruce. He's not the prettiest manager as the way he plays, but obviously he still gets results. But I just think this is the year, like it's not gonna work for him anymore. Obviously it's not really his fault. Mike Ashley has not been able to splash the cash. Obviously there's been a lot of news recently and throughout the years about a takeover, but that has yet to be seen. Nothing has happened. But main player basically is Callum Wilson. If he can stay fit, then maybe they have a chance of staying up. Saint Maximin always does good, but I don't think he can do enough to save this team from relegation. I think if Callum Wilson does get injured, Maximin will perform great performances as he usually does, but I think he'll move at the end of the season for sure this year. Unless the takeover does happen, then this list will completely change. It just depends on what these couple of days does happen. Obviously, I wanted to keep it as close as possible to the Premier League season, so I'm recording this on a Wednesday, 2 days off the Premier League season. So yeah, I think Newcastle are gonna relegate. I think this is the year. The club is not run very, very well. So yeah, Newcastle are the last spot to relegate. Moving on to a team that would just move out of the relegation, and this is very controversial. A lot of people probably tipped them to relegate. It is Norwich. So Norwich City have been in the Premier League the season before last, and I think they have a decent squad. But I think their signings have been amazing. Obviously, losing Emiliano Buendia is a huge problem. But obviously, I think they replaced him pretty well. Not at the same level. Mila Rashica is a really, really good signing. Obviously, coming from Werder Bremen. They got him, I think, on a free, or I think it might be on a loan. I'm not sure. I don't remember too much. I don't really follow Norwich too much. But the likes of Angus Gunn is pretty decent. Obviously, since the 9-0 against Man United. I believe he's the one that played. He has been in like horrible form. But I do see him coming up. He's getting a new start at a new club. Ben Gibson has been, one of those kids that just didn't make it, but maybe he could turn this around for Norwich. And someone I'm really excited about, obviously, is Josh Sargent. He's American. I don't really support the USA. They're like my second club, my second national team from Mexico. I really support Mexico. But Josh Sargent, I think he has a huge future in football, basically, for the US national team especially. So, obviously, they still have the likes of Timo Pukki, who I think is going to be very, very important. If he does perform, I think they will surely, for sure, finish outside the relegation zone. But if he does not perform, maybe I could see them flip with Newcastle and maybe even Burnley. So I think Norwich, Newcastle, and Burnley will be fighting for relegation. I think Watford is a guaranteed relegation. I hope that doesn't come back and slap me. But anyways, let's move on to the next position. As for 16th place, is a team I actually really do like, with a really good manager. So it's obviously Brighton, as you guys can see. It is Brighton. I do really like this team. I just think losing Ben White was a huge loss, and depending on who they sign to replace him, nothing has yet to be seen yet. No links I've not seen, but hopefully they do replace him pretty well. But I think Lewis Dunk and Dan Burn would do a very good job. If Dan Burn does play center back, I know he's been playing left back. Obviously, not too many signings from them. They did get a couple young players such as Sherpin, which I do see a future in him. But obviously, they do have Robert Sanchez. I think that's his name. Yeah, Robert Sanchez, who's performed really, really well last season. And I think he's going to be the main man to watch this season for Brighton. Hopefully, he does perform again like last season. But obviously, the main problem, I think, with this team is the striker. So, Maupay, don't get me wrong. Amazing striker. I really like that he joined Brighton last year, I think it was, or the year before. It's just that he hasn't been finishing, man. Obviously, you guys know the famous Brighton stat, XG. They have a lot of XG. And if Neil Maupay can kick on and score those chances that they've been creating, then I do see him higher up in this Premier League table, maybe even up to 13th. But as of right now, how's it looking since last season? I think they'll finish 16th place. Maybe flirt with relegation, but I think they'll be pretty much safe. They're a decent squad. Graham Potter is an amazing manager who I do see in the future maybe managing a bigger side. But moving on to 15th place. So 15th place, in my opinion, is probably like this team that I put 15th place is probably the most difficult team to judge this season because of the unknownness brought in within the squad. So it's Crystal Palace. So Crystal Palace is a team I really have enjoyed throughout the years since I've been watching the Premier League. They have made some amazing signings, I believe. Michel Olise, Mark Guehi, Joachim Henderson, Conor Gallagher, and even the return of Nathan Klein is pretty interesting. But however, Patrick Vieira has not been the best manager these past couple years. He's been pretty decent, pretty standard, but it's up to him basically, and Wilfried Zaha, in my opinion, him and Wilfried Zaha, and as well as Eberechi Eze once he does come back from injury, to perform for this Crystal Palace side. As for Crystal Palace, I could see them as high as 8th place, but as low as maybe even 17th place to relegate. But I do believe Patrick Vieira will keep them up perfectly fine at 15th place, but I do want to see, hopefully they do light up the Premier League. I would like to see a side like Crystal Palace finally kick into the Europa League spaces. Obviously, Roy Hodgson has done a very amazing job to keep him up, but that's all he's done. He's never progressed with the side. Kind of like Burnley. Burnley have maintained, but they have never really progressed. So hopefully we do see a good season for Crystal Palace, but I do believe maybe 15th place is pretty realistic. As for 14th place, I do think it would be New Boys Brentford. So obviously this is a really controversial place to put them in. Obviously, they're a new squad into the Premier League, and they haven't made too many signings, in my opinion. Obviously, their main signing has been Christopher Ayed, who I think is a brilliant signing, to be honest. It's sad to see that other clubs did not bring him in, but Brentford obviously did a great job, and like keeping up Ivan Toney has been crucial so far. If they do manage to keep him, if they do not sell him in these next couple of days or until the end of the transfer window, so I think keeping Ivan Toney is pretty crucial for Brentford to stay up. If they do sell Ivan Toney, I think they go straight down. In my opinion, Ivan Toney is gonna be the man this season. David Raya is also a pretty decent goalkeeper, and other players as well have been pretty crucial to them. But in my opinion, it's up to Ivan Toney to keep the side up. And if Ivan Toney does have a standout season, having 15 plus goals, I think they will go up to at least 14th place, but no higher in my opinion. Maybe even a little bit lower. But I did put them up just to maybe make this prediction a little bit more interesting. But I do believe in them. Ivan Toney, I have believed in for a while, and I do believe he will have a great season in the Premier League. As for 13th place is my club, Southampton. So I would have put him way lower in this list if I had recorded it a couple days ago when Danny Ings was just sold. But I think bringing in Adam Armstrong is probably the perfect signing to replace Danny Ings. I think, obviously, we did sign Che Adams, and we did expect him to have a big season, and he didn't. Obviously, he picked up his form as he went on, and he has continued to pick up his form. And I think Adam Armstrong, like I said, is the perfect signing. I think he will guarantee perform in this Premier League season. That's if he doesn't get injured. If I would record this before Adam Armstrong was brought in, I think we're going down. 100% we're going down. Obviously, we have also brought in the likes of Broca on loan and Piroid, who is a fullback, unknown in my opinion. I don't really know him too much, coming in from the French league. We've also brought in Theo Walcott on a permanent, which is something I'm not really a big fan of. Theo Walcott's a decent player. I think his time is up in the Premier League. And also Tino Livramento, another unknown signing for me, but I hope he does kick in this side. But like I said, the main reason I do see him as high as this is that Adam Armstrong is in the club. However, if James Ward-Prowse does manage to get injured, I think that's a huge problem for us. He's probably one out of the two creators we do have. That's what we're missing here. Southampton have been missing a creator for so long, and they have managed not to sign one. Other players to look at, obviously, is Che Adams to have a good season. He is also probably our second best creator in the squad, second to Ward-Prowse. Romeo is a good player to watch because he's been performing pretty consistent throughout the years for us. Obviously, the defenders are also main team to watch because as for last year, obviously, we did lose 9-0. And I think Musa Genepo has to kick on this season. He has been, obviously, unlucky with a couple of injuries, but I think if he does stay fit, he'll have an outstanding season. But anyways, I think my club will finish 13th place. I think they could push on higher, but I would not be surprised to see them lower. But yeah, I think just main reason we're missing a creator. But anyways, let's move on to the next position. So 12th place is a shocking one. You guys are gonna be pretty shocked. I have put West Ham. So West Ham obviously put a rabbit out of the bag. I think that's the saying. Last season, and did go up to 5th place, which they do now have Europa League, but I think that's a huge problem for them. They really have a good starting 11. You guys know their starting 11 is pretty amazing in my opinion. Other than probably a world-class striker. No offense to Michel Antonio, he's a really good striker, but I think they need like a guaranteed goal scorer. Michel Antonio can come back here and there, but I think it's just their squad depth. The squad depth is really thin. They don't have a good bench, a good reserves, and they're gonna be playing Thursday nights as well as the cup competitions and the Premier League. I don't think they're gonna have enough to perform in both or in all three, in my opinion. So I think they'll want to go ahead and push hard for the Europa League. I have no idea why, and I think the Premier League, they just won't be able to do it. They won't be able to do top 10 in my opinion with all those games in, unless they do bring in a lot of squad depth. However, Alfonso Areola I think is an amazing signing. Even though Lucas Fabianski is a really great player, I think having those two players switch on and off during the Premier League campaign and Europa League campaign is very good. But it's still yet to see basically a striker to score goals. Obviously Edward has been linked but has not made a move yet, so we don't know what's going to happen with West Ham. But I think sadly they'll finish below the top 10, which is something I don't want to see, because that it was our first career mode. And obviously I do like a couple players there, to be honest. And obviously not signing Jesse Lingard is a huge heartbreak for them. That would have been an amazing player. And obviously now Benrahma will be the main man there at the center attacking mid, and will he perform? That's up for debate for the rest of the season. But yeah, I think West Ham will finish 12th place. Just missing out on the top 10 for me, top mid-table of the Premier League table for me, will be Wolves. So Wolves obviously have been a tricky side throughout this Premier League campaign. They've been in the last 3 seasons, I do believe. Obviously they finished in the top 6 and they got Europa League football that 1 year, but last season was pretty much disappointing, all due to this fact that Raul Jimenez did get that head injury. And I think Raul Jimenez is going to be the deciding factor in how high they finish in this Premier League season. Raul Jimenez, obviously a Mexican, someone I do support. I do hope he does have an amazing season. However, I think the squad has weakened since the couple seasons they did had that amazing season. I think losing Rui Patricio to Roma is such a big mistake. Jose Sa is unknown. I don't know how good he'll do, in my opinion. And as for signings, they haven't made too much. I know Nuidi, I think he signed on a permanent, and Trincao on loan is a big signing, by the way. I think Trincao and Pedro Neto should be the starting wingers, not Adama Traore. I'm sorry, Adama Traore, but you don't score goals. Yeah, I think Wolves will finish 11th place, mid-table, decent mid-table. I don't think they'll be struggling for relegation. Obviously, it's up to Raul Jimenez to carry the squad, in my opinion. He's been the main man for Wolves ever since he signed. But if they could bring in maybe another striker to help him out, Fabio Silva hasn't really kicked into form yet. Hopefully, he does this season. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a better defense. I know Connor Cody's pretty amazing. The Dunk is pretty decent, as was Willy Bale, but I think they still need more of that flair in that squad. Obviously, Ruben Neves is also linked to a move away recently, so if he does move away, that'll be a little bit worse for them. But if he does stay, it will be a little bit of improvement. But I don't see them basically shocking anyone in this year. I think a good 11th place is good for them. Moving on to 10th place, bang on mid-table, I think it will be Leeds United. So Leeds United, the only reason I think they'll finish this high is because of Marcelo Bielsa. He's done a madness ever since he's joined that side in the championship, and obviously now I think they're a pretty stable Premier League side. However, I think they're still missing a world star signing. I know they've signed a couple of those last season, but I think they need more. Obviously, the likes of getting Jack Harrison on a permanent is an amazing signing. Junior Firpo, I'm not sure if it was a loan or it was a confirmed signing. I think it would have been a permanent transfer. I think that's a really good signing as well. Obviously, losing Alioski to Galatasaray, I think it was, but I think they have a decent squad. I hope Patrick Bamford does have another big season. That is also a big part where Leeds will finish if Patrick Bamford does score the goals he did last season. But I think Rafinha will have another amazing season, and I think the season after this one he will move to a bigger club, in my opinion. But it's basically Marcelo Bielsa is gonna prove another madness this season, and probably finish 10th place and maybe even push on to top 8 would be pretty amazing. But yeah, 10th place for Leeds United is pretty decent. At 9th place, we do have Everton. So obviously, Everton do have a new manager in Rafa Benitez, who I think is a pretty good manager. I just think he doesn't have the team he needs to make this Everton side perform. So they have a couple good players. Obviously, we know Gylfi Sigurdsson is pretty good. I know he's has this whole situation going on around him which I don't want to talk about, but he's pretty decent now. He's coming to form. Obviously, he's the captain at times, but I think probably the best player they do have is Richarlison along with Calvert-Lewin. So it's up to them to basically to perform for this squad to keep them up the top 10. If anything, I do see them maybe pushing for 6th place, but I don't think they have enough signings. Obviously, they made Andros Townsend, which is a really good signing. Don't get me wrong, to be fair. I think he's a really good player. He's been underrated for these past couple seasons for Crystal Palace. Demarai Gray is an basically unknown signing. Not unknown signing, but like a very risky signing, depending on how he performs. And Asmir Begovic is just a backup goalkeeper for Pickford in case he does get injured. But I think they still need better signings. Obviously, their defense is pretty decent with Mason Holgate and Michael Keane, but I just think they need more, man. Maybe James Rodriguez is Everton still. So yeah, my bad. James Rodriguez is still at the club, but obviously I think he's linked with a move away since Ancelotti did leave, so he might be on the exit door. I know Koulibaly has been linked to Everton, and I don't know if that's gonna happen. To be honest, that's a lot. That might be a lot of money for Everton. I don't know if they have that much money, but if they do, then I think if they do send Koulibaly, I think that moves them automatically to the top 8 for sure, because Koulibaly is such an amazing center back. That's if he performs in the Premier League though. But I think they're still missing. They don't have enough to finish above the teams I do have above them. So 10th place is a pretty alright position for Everton in my opinion. I did say Everton in 10th place. I meant 9th place. I'm sorry about that. As for 8th place and 7th place, you will see is very controversial. You guys, a lot of fans will hate me for this. So I think for 8th place will be Tottenham. So don't get me wrong. I really love the signings they have made. Golini, I think, obviously on loan, is a very, very good signing. Obviously, they still have Lloris. Golini is a great backup. Like, I really love that signing. Romero, obviously, also, I like that signing as well. Double signing from Atalanta. And Brian Joe, obviously, as well, is a young signing. I do really like it, though it is a chance they're taking. But they are playing the Conference League, which is going to be a lot more games for them. And obviously, the side hasn't performed too well. I know Mourinho has left and Nuno Espirito Santo has joined. And I think, to be honest, that's a downgrade in my opinion. I think Mourinho is a better manager, obviously. But let's see how he does in my opinion. Obviously, the huge thing that we're not talking about right now is Harry Kane. So if Harry Kane does leave, I think for sure they'll get around this side. But if Harry Kane stays, maybe they'll push on maybe even the top 4 or top 5 in my opinion. Harry Kane is such a huge factor. Obviously, let's not forget as well as Heung-min Son is a huge factor as well. But I think losing Harry Kane would probably be the worst decision the club will ever make. But I think he deserves to leave in my opinion. He deserves to win trophies. But as of right now, he has returned to training. And Man City have not made an offer yet. So we'll see what does happen in the incoming future. But I think Tottenham, 8th place is a safe bet for me. I don't want to look dumb at the end of the season when if I did predict them at top 5. But I do believe Harry Kane might leave now that Messi has joined PSG. I think Man City will not go for them unless Man City go for the likes of Lautaro or Haaland this season. But I think Harry Kane will leave, in my opinion. I hope he does leave, in my opinion. But I'm sorry, Tottenham Hotspur supporters, but I think you guys will finish 8th place. 7th place, like I said, is also another controversial one. And it's a club I really do like, in my opinion. It's probably the second club I support in the Premier League. It is Arsenal. So, I feel like I have a lot of Arsenal fans that do view this channel, and y'all are going to hate me for this. So, Arsenal are not too bad of a squad. Don't get me wrong. A lot of youth, in my opinion, which that's probably going to be their downfall. Obviously, no European competitions will help them with less games, and I think they can push up maybe even higher to 5th place, but not reaching the top 4 for sure. I really do like the signing of Nuno Tavares and Lokonga. Obviously, very improving at the top leagues. As for Ben White, I really do like the signing. However, that transfer fee is very outrageous. However, I do think he will shut up the haters and he will perform pretty well. But like I said, most of the squad is really young, which is something I do like. Like I said, they are the team I do support other than Southampton in the Premier League. And I think in the future, they will gel together. Bukayo Saka, obviously. Martinelli, I can't wait to see him this season. Hopefully he does play. Obviously, he had an injury last season. I hope Nketiah does get some minutes in the squad, as well as Smith Rowe. Obviously, he's been given the number 10. So hopefully he is a starter. And if he is a starter, he will go ahead and I think perform really amazing. But I think Mikel Arteta is not the right man for this side. There's a lot of managers out for grabs, but I don't think Arsenal will get any of those. But I think maybe they need a manager, maybe like Hasenhuttl. Hasenhuttl, obviously from Southampton, would be a good fit for them. But obviously, I don't want him to go to Arsenal. But like I said, I think this squad is too young, and Mikel Arteta hasn't performed the way that the fans want him to perform. And I think he can perform a little bit better. I think it's up to Aubameyang this season to perform. Last season, he didn't have the best season. Lacazette is linked to a move away, and I know Arsenal linked to James Maddison. If James Maddison does sign, it would be very good for them. However, it would be heartbreaking for the likes of Emile Smith Rowe to not play in his preferred camp position. But Arsenal haven't made too many signings yet. Obviously, 3 young signings. Ben White, the blockbuster signing at the moment. But they haven't made any more signings at the time of recording. If they do make more signings, I think it will just be an improvement. Any signing they do get will be an improvement. But we'll see how they do perform throughout this season, but I do have them in 7th place. Okay, moving on to 6th place, and it's a very controversial one. I think a lot of my picks this season are very controversial. So it is Aston Villa. So Aston Villa obviously gotten rid of Jack Grealish. That is the big announcement. As well as getting rid of Tom Heaton might be a mistake in case Emiliano Martinez does get injured. But Jack Grealish, I think we couldn't be prevented. I think he does deserve the move. I know a lot of people are hating on him. He does deserve that move. But yeah, 100 million. So they have a lot of money to spend. I heard though it was a thing that they make signings before Jack Grealish, knowing he would leave. So maybe they don't have money anymore. Who knows? That is remained to be seen. Obviously, they link to James Ward-Prowse. I do believe if James Ward-Prowse leaves, that's a huge improvement for Aston Villa. But obviously, as a Southampton fan, I do not want him to leave. But it doesn't look likely, in my opinion. They haven't offered enough. As for the signings, I think they have amazing signings. Emiliano Buendia, probably the best signing out of the bunch. Probably not the perfect replacement, but the closest to a perfect replacement for Jack Grealish. Leon Bailey is a risk. Obviously, Leon Bailey has had some good seasons and some bad seasons. So if he does perform in the Premier League, I think it'll be a pretty good season. If he doesn't, obviously, I think they'll do worse. Danny Ings, I think, is a pretty safe bet. I think it's a pretty good signing for 30 million, I believe it was. And he is a proven goal scorer. I think him and Ollie Watkins would do. I think they'll score a lot of goals this season between them two. It's just up to the defense. Obviously, the defense is pretty good, and obviously, Emiliano Martinez is probably the main man to watch in that side now that Jack Grealish has left. I think they do amazing this season. I think they can even push on for the top 4 if one of the top 4 do have a horrible season. But I think top 6 is pretty realistic, and maybe even get Europa League football. I think Dean Smith is a really underrated manager. Obviously, I think he's rated now due to the fact they had an amazing season last season. But I think he is a huge manager and is the perfect fit for this Aston Villa side. And I do hope they do finish pretty high, like I have predicted in this table. But for me, my main issue is how they've been playing. Is Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings going to fit in the same side? I'm not sure. I hope they do, because they're both really good strikers who do deserve to start. But it's a really good thing they did to have a backup just in case Ollie Watkins to get injured. Or Danny Ings, who's very injury prone as well. But yeah, I think they're going to have a huge season. Also, I did not mention Tuanzebe on loan is pretty good for backup. And Ashley Young also coming back to the club, who did have a pretty good season at Inter Milan last year. But yeah, 6th place is my opinion for Aston Villa. Moving on to 5th place, to just miss out on the Champions League. And it's something I don't like saying. Like, it's a heartbreak for me. It's Leicester City. I do want to see Leicester. We all love Leicester. I'm pretty sure everyone watching this video, everyone and their moms love Leicester. Everyone loves Leicester. But I don't think they have enough to finish in the top 4. Look, don't get me wrong. I love the signings. These signings have been probably the steals of like the transfer window, in my opinion. Patson Daka and Bukayo Samarai are really good signings in my opinion. Boubakary Samari will be playing alongside Wilfred Ndidi. I think that should work. And obviously Patson Daka will either play alongside Jimmy Vardy or as his bench replacement. But I think those are really good signings. Ryan Bertrand is a decent signing. In my opinion, I was tired of him at Southampton, so I'm glad he has left. Obviously, we had to release him on a free, I think it was. But I think they're still missing a winger. So Harvey Barnes, amazing player. Obviously, he did have that injury. If he does come back up and running and he does perform well, I think they'll have a huge season again. But the likes of James Maddison with a link to move away is not looking good for them. I think James Maddison should stay though. I think it's too much of a risk to join the likes of Arsenal, who've been a banter club and have been underperforming past throughout these couple of years. But he is most linked to Arsenal. If he goes to Madrid, then yeah, it's different. He's been linked to Madrid before and other teams as well. I think he should stay though. I think that's the right decision, but I don't know if he's gonna do that. But I think Leicester are missing a couple players. Obviously Wesley Fofana is a huge heartbreak to see him get injured. I think he would have helped this team maybe even crack into the top 4. I think the main reason I did put him in the 5th place is because Wesley Fofana is injured, and I think they're still missing a winger, another winger on that right side. Obviously, Ayoze Perez has been pretty decent. Mark O'Brien has been pretty decent as well. Cengiz Under has not hit the heights that everyone has seen from him, but I think 5th place is good for them. They can maybe push for the top 4, like I said, for Aston Villa, same thing, if a top 4 team does slip. But anyways, let's move on probably to the reason you clicked this video, to the top 4. This top 4 is going to be probably where I get the most hate. I think in my opinion, the top 3 is going to get the most hate. So no, like 4th, 3rd, and 2nd is going to get the most hate. But it's just my opinion, like I said. And I know my friend thinks I'm a Man United hater, but I'm not. But I think for 4th place will be Man United. So don't get me wrong, Tom Heaton, class signing for a backup goalkeeper, for a 3rd choice goalkeeper, just in case something does happen. If David De Gea or Dean Henderson do get injured, I think Tom Heaton will be pretty decent and will help them keep them in the top 4. As for Jadon Sancho, so I really like Jadon Sancho. I really do hope he does have a good season. But we all know that curse for Man United, that number 7 curse. Obviously, he's not been given the number 7, but he's supposed to be the Ronaldo replacement. So obviously, Man United have been looking for that Ronaldo replacement, basically that star player in that side. And I think Bruno Fernandes has taken it, but obviously a lot of people want to compare Jadon Sancho to Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he will have a decent season. I don't think he will have a huge season, but I don't think he'll flop. But I think Rafael Varane, by the way, amazing signing. It's just Man United guys, like Man United just tend to slip up. Ole is a good manager, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit here and say that somebody else deserves that job. I think Ole does deserve that job. He's done so much with the little he's had, and I think they continue to grow. I just think the teams above him have maybe done a little bit better than him in the transfer window or have a better squad. However, 3rd place, I think they could change with Man United easily. You guys will see right now. But Rafael Varane is a very good signing. That's if he does, subject to medical and personal terms, which have not been agreed yet. I think he's on his way already as of recording today. It hasn't been confirmed. That's the only thing. But I think that's a great signing alongside Harry Maguire, who's had basically a good season last year and has been improving throughout the years as he signed for Man United. I just still think they're missing that CDM. That CDM, they need a Wilfred Ndidi type, an N'Golo Kante type to confirm that, maybe even go for that Premier League title. I think, in my opinion, Cavani is a good striker, and Anthony Martial is pretty decent but hasn't been performing up to the heights that have been set for him. I also think they need a new striker, not this season but maybe next season. Really, I think it was a really bad idea to let go of Romelu Lukaku. I know, obviously, he didn't fit the system, apparently, but I think that's a big loss. If they would have still had Lukaku, I think they would probably won a league title already. But yeah, Man United in 4th place is not too bad, but I know a lot of people are going to get mad at me. I think they could go up highest 2nd place, but not for sure they're not winning the league title. But I think they'll have a good season. Rashford's going to have a good season when he does come back. Bruno Fernandes hopefully has another good season. Cavani, I do see him have a big season as well. I think he should start over Anthony Martial. But like I said, it's up to Jadon Sancho to see how he performs. And Rafael Varane, I think he's going to be class. But I think it's that CDM, as well as the not even mentioned Pogba. Pogba might leave, and that will be a huge loss to the team. But anyways, let's get on to 3rd place. So moving on to 3rd place, I think it's very controversial. A lot of people will not like me for this. I think it's going to be Liverpool. Liverpool, amazing side, don't get me wrong. We all know that. Salah, amazing performances. Mane, Firmino, up to even Diego Jota. I'm really excited to see this season. However, Van Dijk is yet to be seen if he'll perform the way he used to perform. There's a saying, the rule of thumb apparently, that it takes you, let's say you were injured for 2 weeks, it takes you 2 weeks to get back to recover from your injury, basically. So obviously he was out for almost half the season, mainly almost the whole season. So it might take him the whole season to kick on. So maybe towards the end of the season he will kick on. But Ibrahima Konate is an amazing signing. I think they should have made the signing last year, maybe even Upamecano. I think Liverpool were affected by their arrogance to not sign anyone last season. I'm not sure if there's something going on behind the scenes. Maybe they didn't have any money. But I feel like this season, if they don't make any of the signings, it's gonna be a huge problem again. They got rid of Ronaldo on a free, which is something really bad to see. But I don't know what's going on with this Liverpool side. I don't know why they're not signing any of these players. I know they have a good side already, but they need more players for more backup, more depth, better depth in my opinion. And obviously, also, Oxlade-Chamberlain is linked to a move away, which will be not a good idea. Already losing Ronaldo, but as well as Curtis Jones, I did see yesterday he got a head injury. So I think they need a couple more signings. I don't know if they're gonna make signings. They haven't been really linked to anyone other than Saul, which if that happens would be a good signing. But I think, like I said, it's just arrogance. Unless they don't have money, then I'm sorry for saying that you guys are arrogant. But if it's just arrogance, I think it's a really bad idea for Liverpool to not sign anyone. I think they won't slip out of the top 4 this time. I think they will. I know last time I think they were in the top 4, but I think they'll have a decent season. In third place is good for them. Moving on to second place. Obviously, once I do review second place, you guys will know who won the league title for me. So second place is gonna be Chelsea. Obviously, top will be Man City once again. I think Chelsea have not made a lot of signings, but as of right now, Lukaku should be on his way to Chelsea, and it looks like it's gonna be completed. Unless that does fall through, I think they'll finish maybe 4th place or even 3rd place. But I think signing Romelu Lukaku is probably like the final piece in that puzzle that Chelsea have been making. Obviously, Timo Werner. I love Timo Werner. I think he got a lot of hate for no reason last season. He did perform really good, but he just wasn't finishing, and that's what a striker needs to do, in my opinion. I think not playing Tammy Abraham and selling him might be a big mistake in the long run. I think Tammy Abraham should start. I don't even think they need Lukaku. I think Tammy Abraham could fill in those shoes. I'm not taking away anything from Lukaku. Lukaku is probably maybe the 3rd best striker in the world right now, and that's going to improve. But losing Tammy Abraham will obviously affect them later in the future. They might even do what they're doing this year and sign Tammy Abraham back for like 110 million once he does continue to perform. Because I think Tammy Abraham is going to have a huge career. He's such a good striker. He has shown that in the little time he's played for Chelsea and also for Aston Villa. Obviously, they're clearing out a lot of young players, which I think might be a mistake. The likes of Fikayo Tomori should have not been sold. Like, maybe other players should have been sold, but I think Tomori should have stayed at the club. Has a huge future, as well as Mark Guehi. But like I said, a lot of these youngsters, I'm glad actually that are finally willing to leave this side. It's good for them. Oliver Giroud obviously is another player that has left, but I think it's not too much of a big deal. But the main thing for me is losing Tomori. I think Chelsea can still improve in a lot of their positions. Maybe mainly the center back position. I think someone needs to be world class right next to Thiago Silva. Don't get me wrong, Rudiger has been amazing, but they could have gotten Varane for 40 million. That would have been better than Rudiger, and maybe even Thiago Silva at that. But Rudiger, I think he will have a big season. He had amazing Champions League final. If you guys did see the Champions League final, if you guys don't remember that tackle he did on Phil Foden, that just absolutely shocked me. He probably saved that game right there. But obviously, they have the likes of Lukaku now. If he does join, Kai Havertz, I'm hoping for a big season. He will perform better. Hakim Ziyech just remains to be seen if he will play or he will leave. Mason Mount's gonna have another amazing season. I know he is. Pulisic, if he does come back from that injury, up and running, I hope he does have a good season. Other players that I do, obviously Conte, bigged up a lot. Jorginho, who has been linked to move away, but has been quiet ever since, and Kovacic as well. I think they have pretty stagnant midfield. I think just that defense is missing a little bit more. One more thing is the goalkeeper situation. So Edouard Mendy's pretty good, but can he perform again this Premier League season is yet to be seen as well. I feel like they should have gotten Donnarumma for a free. I think that would have been a perfect signing. That would help them maybe even win the league title. But anyways, let's move on to Man City. Okay, so moving on to Man City. First place, obviously, with that Jack Grealish signing. Even without the Jack Grealish signing, I think they still would have finished first place. However, they don't have a striker at the moment. Harry Kane has been linked. Lautaro Martinez has been linked. Haaland has been linked. A lot of players have been linked. Even Lewandowski, I think, at certain points. I think they still need that striker. Regardless if they don't sign him, I think they'll still finish first place because of the size of that squad, the depth of that squad. I think it'll be a huge mistake to sell Raheem Sterling, though. I think that's probably will be the stupidest decision of the transfer window this year if Sterling is sold. I hope he does stay and he does start. I think it should be Raheem Sterling on the right, and left it should be Jack Grealish, and as Cam it should be Foden with De Bruyne holding with Fernandinho or Rodri, whoever they decide to play. And or maybe if there's no striker, De Bruyne at a false 9 and Phil Foden right behind him, or vice versa in my opinion. I think without a striker, they should be good enough to finish the Premier League, win the Premier League, but not good enough to finish the Champions League. If they do get that goal scorer, they have a shout with the Champions League. It's going to be very difficult with that PSG side with Messi there. But like I said, I think Man City might be affected if they do sell Sterling, in my opinion. Like, a lot of people hate on Sterling, but he had a huge Euros, and I've been a huge fan of Sterling for all these years. He's so prolific. Obviously, he has a couple shooting problems, but he still scores a couple goals. If he does get his boots like perfectly fine and he scores all the chances he gets, he could have a easy 30 goal season and maybe even break Salah's record. But it's yet to be seen if he's gonna move or not, maybe even start. Obviously, Bernardo Silva is linked to the move away, but I think the squad's just too good to not get first place. But like I said, main things to watch is obviously Jack Grealish, the 100 million signing. It is to see if they sign a striker and if Raheem Sterling is sold. I hope Raheem Sterling is not sold. If he is sold, then it's a big loss for them. But anyways, that should be the end of these predictions. Okay, right before we do finish the predictions, I wanna mention a couple of like awards. So I guess I want to say the best goalkeeper of this season will be Emiliano Martinez, in my opinion. As for top goal scorer, I think for me it's between Bruno Fernandes or Harry Kane once again, or maybe even Salah as well. I think they will score a bunch of goals. Harry Kane wherever he's at, whether he joins Man City, Man United, wherever he joins, or he stays at Spurs. As for player of the season, I really do want to go with De Bruyne and Bruno. I think Bruno might actually get it. Realistically, I think Bruno will get it, but I want to go with a little bit of shout. A lot of people will hate on me for this, but I think Jack Grealish will get player of the year this year. I'll probably get a lot of hate, and I probably will be completely wrong, but I think Jack Grealish is gonna have a huge year. 100 million, and he's gonna perform. I know he's gonna perform pretty well. I don't think he's gonna flop. I just think he'll perform. Whether he performs at world star level will remain to be seen, but I think he'll get player of the year. So that is the end of this Premier League predictions video for the 21-22 season. Hopefully I don't look stupid at the end, but if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to click that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell to get notified anytime we do post. We have just reached 100 subscribers, 80 away from 200 subscribers. I'm already ready for the next goal. My main thing is that you guys enjoy my content, and I know you guys are. So like I said, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to click that like button. And anyway, right before we do the outro, I just want to remind you guys to please join the fantasy Premier League that I have made. Like I said, if a lot of people join, then I will go ahead and do the giveaway for the winner. But anyways, make sure to do the things that you love, the things that make you happy, and just be yourself, guys. It's been your boy Joy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day, and chamos.